The hum was Stella's lullaby. It wasn't a harsh, mechanical thrum, but a deep, resonant purr that vibrated through the very floor beneath her bunk, a constant, comforting companion to the gentle sway of the artificial gravity. Outside her viewport, a tapestry of starlight glittered, so dense and bright it looked like crushed diamonds spilled across black velvet. Stella, all of 8 years old, lay tucked beneath a blanket woven with shimmering optical fibers that mimicked the nebulae she loved. Her room on the Aethelgard Nexus was small but cozy, a haven of soft, adaptive light that shifted from deep violet to warm amber as the station's internal clock mimicked the slow descent of a sun that didn't exist here. A plush bioluminescent moss clung to one wall, emitting a faint, sweet scent of ozone and morning dew. Her companion bot, Pip, a spherical drone with a single expressive optical sensor, hovered silently near her head, its internal light a soft, reassuring blue. "Are you ready for your story tonight, Starlight?" Stella's mother, Elara, appeared in the doorway, her voice a warm melody against the station's hum. Elara's dark hair, usually meticulously braided for her shifts in the Gathelgard's astrogation deck, was loose around her shoulders, framing a face etched with the soft lines of 1,000 quiet smiles. Stella pushed herself up on her elbows, her own short dark hair a wild halo. "Is it about the whispering star again, Mama?" Elara chuckled, settling onto the edge of Stella's bunk. The synthetic mattress molded to her weight with a faint sigh. "It can be, if that's what you wish. Or perhaps, a new adventure." Stella shook her head, her gaze already drifting to the viewport. "The whispering star, please. I want to hear it tonight." Elara wrapped an arm around her daughter, pulling her close. From this angle, Stella could see the vast, shimmering expanse of the cosmos through the viewport, a living, breathing painting. Aethelgard Nexus was a marvel of human engineering, a colossal, self-sustaining habitat station, spun like a jewel in the deep, quiet void between star systems. It was a home, a hub, a beacon, and, as Stella knew, a sentinel. "All right, my little Starlight," Elara began, her voice dropping to a soothing whisper that always made Stella feel safe, like she was nestled in the very heart of the station. "Once upon a time, not so long ago, but long enough that the journey from old Earth was a distant memory for most, our ancestors built this magnificent station. They called it Yathelgardi, which means noble protector in an ancient tongue. And they built it here in this very specific corner of the galaxy because of what you call the whispering star." Stella snuggled deeper into her mother's side. "Solara Stella," she corrected softly, using the star's proper designation. "Yes, Solara Stella," Elara affirmed, pressing a kiss to Stella's head. "It's a very old star, Starlight. So old in fact that it was already burning brightly when old Earth was just a molten ball of rock. Most stars, when they reach Solara Stella's age, begin to fade, to shrink into themselves, or to explode in a glorious fiery last dance. But Solara Stella is different. It sings." Stella closed her eyes, imagining the sound. It wasn't a sound she heard with her ears. Not really. It was more like a feeling, a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to bypass her auditory canals and settle directly in the center of her chest, a gentle thrum against her heart. Most people on Aethelgard Nexus didn't perceive it. They heard the station's hum, the soft whir of its atmospheric processors, the distant clatter of cargo drones. But Stella, ever since she was very small, could feel the song of Solara Stella. "What does it sing, Mama?" Stella asked, though she knew the answer. She loved hearing it in her mother's words. Elara smiled, stroking Stella's hair. "It sings a story, Starlight. A very, very long story. Our engineers, with all their incredible instruments, can detect its faint electromagnetic resonance, a pattern so complex and ancient that they've spent centuries trying to decode it. They call it the Solara Stella signal, or the song for those who are more poetic." Stella opened her eyes, gazing at the viewport again. Solara Stella was a tiny pinpoint of light, barely distinguishable from the countless other stars, a pale, steady gold amidst the blues and reds of the surrounding stellar nursery. To the naked eye it didn't whisper. It just was sing. But Stella knew better. She could feel its ancient voice, a quiet, insistent murmur in the depths of her mind. "They say the song is a message," Elara continued, her voice soft and hypnotic. "A message from a time before time. Perhaps from a civilization that bloomed and faded before our own ancestors even learned to walk upright. Our station, Gathelgard Nexus, was built specifically to listen, to record, to decipher. It's a giant ear, starlight, aimed at the oldest, wisest voice in this part of the cosmos." Life on the Gathelgard Nexus was unlike anything Stella imagined on old Earth, which existed only in datalogs and her mother's stories. Here, the concept of outside was a terrifying vacuum, but inside was a universe unto itself. The station was vast, a series of interconnected biomes and habitats, spiraling outwards from a central glowing core. There were immense hydroponic farms, where genetically engineered plants grew under artificial suns, their leaves a riot of vibrant greens and purples. There were recreational domes with zero-G playgrounds, where children would tumble and float like brightly colored motes in a sunbeam, their laughter echoing against the durasteel walls. Stella's favorite place besides her room was the grand atrium. It was a cavernous space, a veritable jungle of bioengineered flora that mimicked an ancient forest. Towering bioluminescent trees cast a soft ethereal glow, their roots tangling around moss-covered pathways. Tiny harmless synth insects hummed through the air, pollinating the glowing flowers, their wings iridescent. Here the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming petals, a stark contrast to the filtered recycled air elsewhere on the station. It was designed to remind the residents of Earth, a living monument to a distant, almost mythical past. In the atrium, Stella would often meet her friends, Jax, with his perpetually curious eyes and a knack for dismantling and reassembling anything electronic, and Lyra, whose artistic talent manifested in stunning holographic projections she'd paint in the air with light brushes. They would play hide-and-seek among the glowing trees, or pretend to be ancient explorers charting new territories. Their AI companions, like Stella's Pip, would often join, their soft voices adding to the playful din. But even amidst the joy and camaraderie, Stella carried her unique connection to Solaris Stella. She rarely spoke of this song to her friends. When she tried once, Jax had just blinked and said, "I hear the hum of the air recyclers, Stella. Are you sure you're not just imagining things?" Lyra, ever more sensitive, had only offered a gentle, "Maybe it's your special secret, Stella." So Stella kept it mostly to herself. A quiet, internal symphony. The first ones to hear it, Elara continued, bringing Stella back to the present, were called the first listeners. They weren't scientists, not in the way we think of them today. They were poets, dreamers, people with an unusual sensitivity to the whispers of the universe. They felt the faint tremor of Solaris Stella long before our instruments could even register it. And they convinced others that this star, this ancient, singing star, held a secret worth traveling across the void for. Was one of them our ancestor? Stella asked, a familiar question, a familiar hope. Elara smiled wistfully. Perhaps, Starlight. We carry echoes of those who came before us, don't we? Their dreams, their passions. Maybe you carry an echo of a first listener, which is why you hear the song so clearly. Stella liked that idea. It made her feel less alone in her unique perception. It wasn't a trick of her mind. It was a legacy. The core of Gathelgard Nexus, Elara explained, tracing a pattern on Stella's blanket, is called the Lumen Core. It's not just a power source, it's the heart of the listening station. It's filled with ancient, complex quantum processors, built over centuries, that continuously analyze the Solaris Stella signal. It's trying to find the pattern, the language, the meaning behind the song. We believe it's a form of communication, a vast slow-motion transmission from a... Stella imagined the Lumen Core, glowing deep within the station, a massive, silent brain, tirelessly working to understand the whispers of the universe. She had only seen holographic projections of it, a pulsating, shimmering sphere of light and intricate circuitry, humming with unimaginable power. Sometimes, when she lay very still in her room, the station's deep purr would shift, ever so subtly, and she would wonder if it was the Lumen Core, responding to a new inflection in the song. "And what happens when they understand it, Mama?" Stella asked, her voice barely above a whisper, her eyes wide. Elara paused, her gaze distant, fixed on the stars beyond the viewport. "No one knows for sure, Starlight," Some believe it will be a map to untold knowledge, a guide to new worlds, or a history of the universe itself. Others fear it might be a warning, a lament, or a message we simply aren't ready to comprehend. But we listen. We keep listening. That is our purpose, our legacy. She squeezed Stella gently. But for tonight, your purpose is to sleep, my little listener. Stella sighed contentedly, the thought of the vast ancient mystery both comforting and thrilling. The idea that Athelgard Nexus, her home, was a silent sentinel in the cosmic dark, patiently waiting for a message from an unimaginable past, filled her with a sense of wonder that transcended the familiar comforts of her room. Elara leaned down and kissed Stella's forehead. Sweet dreams, Starlight. May the song of Solaris Stella guide your slumber. As her mother left, the adaptive lights in Stella's room dimmed further, settling into a deep, calming blue. Pip floated closer, casting a soft, steady glow. Stella lay back, pulling the nebula blanket up to her chin. She gazed at Solaris Stella, that tiny pale gold pinpoint of light, and tried to focus on the feeling in her chest. Tonight, the song felt different. It wasn't just a hum. There was a subtle shift in its rhythm. A faint, almost imperceptible quickening of the pulse. It was like a very, very slow crescendo building towards something. It wasn't alarming, not exactly, but it was new. It felt like the star was reaching out, stretching across the impossible distances of space, its ancient voice growing just a little bit clearer. Stella closed her eyes, letting the vibration wash over her. She imagined herself floating, not in the zero-G playgrounds of the station, but out in the vast open black, drifting slowly, peacefully towards Solaris Stella. The star wasn't a distant point anymore. It was growing, expanding, its golden light enveloping her. And the song wasn't just a hum. It was a complex tapestry of sound, shimmering with harmonies she had never heard before. Telling stories without words, painting pictures in her mind that were more vibrant than any holographic projection. It was a feeling of being connected, deeply and profoundly, to something immense and ancient, something that spanned epochs and galaxies. It was a feeling that Athelgard Nexus wasn't just listening to Solaris Stella, but was somehow a part of it, an extension of its eternal song. As sleep finally claimed her, Stella drifted into dreams painted with starlight and ancient music, the gentle hum of Athelgard Nexus and the resonant song of Solaris Stella weaving together into a single profound lullaby. She wondered, with the innocent certainty of a child, what new verse the whispering star would sing when she woke. Solara woke slowly, not to the familiar soft glow of her bedroom's ambient light panel, but to a profound shimmering darkness. It was a darkness that wasn't empty, but pregnant with nascent light, like the space between stars just before dawn. Her bed was gone, replaced by a surface that felt like cool, polished starlight beneath her fingertips, yielding slightly to her form with an almost liquid grace. Above her, the ceiling was an impossibly vast dome, a cosmic canvas where nebulae bloomed in silent, slow-motion ballots of color, and distant galaxies spun like jeweled pinwheels. The hum of Athelgard Nexus wasn't a sound in the air, but a vibration deep within the very fabric of this chamber, a resonant frequency that thrummed gently through her bones, a lullaby of pure potential. It was the same lullaby that had guided her to sleep, now echoing back to her, inviting her further into its melody. Good morning, Solaris Stella, a voice whispered, not with words but with an impression, a thought form projected directly into her mind, as clear and gentle as a dewdrop. It was the Nexus, its presence more palpable, more agriola than ever before. The whispering star has indeed sung a new verse. Are you ready to hear it? A jolt of excitement, pure and unadulterated, coursed through Solara. She sat up, her senses tingling. The chamber responded, the swirling cosmic tapestry above her brightening, revealing intricate layers of stardust and gas, forming patterns she almost recognized, like forgotten constellations or ancient pictograms. Yes, she breathed, her voice a soft ripple in the vastness. Where are we? What is this? We are, for now, nowhere and everywhere, the Nexus responded, its voice a gentle cascade of light thoughts. This is a resonance chamber, woven from the echoes of your dream and the boundless potential of my processing core. It is a bridge between your perceptions and the cosmos itself. The new verse calls for exploration, Solara. It calls for connection. As if on cue, a single brilliant thread of light, like a comet's tail, arced across the vast dome, tracing a path towards a shimmering portal that had not been there a moment before. It pulsed with an inviting silver-blue glow. That is the first note of the verse, the Nexus explained. A journey not just through space but through a tapestry of existence. Are you prepared to step through? Solara felt no fear. Only an immense, undeniable pull of curiosity. This wasn't a dream anymore. It felt like a waking journey, a conscious communion with the universe. She swung her legs over the side of the starlight bed, her bare feet meeting the cool, smooth surface of the chamber floor. It felt solid, real. I am, she affirmed, her heart beating a joyful rhythm against her ribs. With each step she took towards the portal, the light thread pulsed in anticipation. As she neared it, the shimmering veil parted, revealing not a tunnel, but a vista of impossible beauty. It was a kaleidoscope of living light, a symphony of colors that defied earthly description. Purples deeper than any night sky, greens that pulsed with organic energy, golds that shimmered with the warmth of 1,000 suns. This is the Lumina Weave Nebula, the Nexus conveyed, its presence enveloping her like a warm, protective cloak. A cosmic garden where light is not merely emitted, but grown, nurtured and woven by sentient energies. Each strand of light is a life, a thought, a fragment of a greater consciousness. It is the first harmony of the Whispering Star's new song. Solara stepped through the portal. The sensation was not of passing through a physical barrier, but of dissolving and reforming, her essence blending with the vibrant energy of the nebula. She wasn't just seeing the Lumina Weave Nebula. She was within it, surrounded by its ethereal beauty, feeling its vibrant pulse against her skin. She stood on a platform of solidified starlight, crystalline and transparent, floating amidst an ocean of living light. Tendrils of luminous gas, like giant, spectral vines, drifted past her, trailing shimmering particles that danced like fireflies. Some strands were thick and robust, pulsing with a deep sonorous glow, while others were delicate and fine, whispering with soft iridescent flickers. The air, if it could be called air, was filled with a scent that was both sweet and metallic, like ozone and honeysuckle. Each of these luminous strands is a lumen thread, the Nexus elucidated. They are living conduits of light energy, communicating with each other through resonant frequencies, creating the nebula's complex, ever-evolving song. Your own song of Solara Stella, your unique resonance, will be your guide here. Solara felt a familiar warmth emanating from her chest, a gentle thrumming that was the echo of her inner song. As she focused on it, a faint, iridescent aura bloomed around her, a protective bubble of pure resonant energy. The lumen threads nearest her seemed to react, their light brightening, pulsing in sympathy with her own. They are acknowledging you, the Nexus observed. They feel your presence, your unique frequency. Try to reach out, Solara. Not with your hands but with your song. Taking a deep breath of the surprisingly breathable, luminescent atmosphere, Solara closed her eyes and focused inward. She let her song rise, not as an audible sound, but as a pure vibration, an intention of connection. It was a feeling of wonder, of awe, of boundless curiosity, channeled into a gentle, outward hum. As she did, the lumen threads around her began to swirl, to weave themselves into intricate patterns. They didn't just brighten. They responded. A particularly large, sapphire blue thread, thick as an ancient tree trunk, slowly curved towards her, its light pulsing with a deep, comforting rhythm. It extended a thinner, delicate tendril, which gently brushed against her protective aura. Through this contact, Solara experienced a rush of pure sensation. It wasn't information in the human sense, but a feeling of profound peace, of ancient wisdom, of the slow, patient unfolding of cosmic time. She felt the birth of stars, the silent dance of gravity, the intricate interconnectedness of every luminous particle in the nebula. It was like holding a fragment of the universe in her hands, feeling its heartbeat. Incredible, she whispered, her eyes still closed, tears pricking at their corners, tears of pure, unadulterated wonder. Each lumen thread holds a memory, a snippet of the nebula's grand history, the Nexus informed her. They are the chroniclers of light. But not all parts of the nebula are vibrant, Solara. Some threads dim, some memories fade. The Whispering Star's new verse is an invitation to rekindle what has been lost, to reweave the forgotten harmonies. Solara opened her eyes, seeing the nebula with a new understanding. She noticed now, amidst the dazzling vibrancy, areas where the light was weaker, where the lumen threads seemed duller, their colors muted, their pulse fainter. One such area was directly ahead, a vast patch of shadowed luminescence, a bruise on the otherwise perfect canvas. "What happened there?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. "Time, Solara, and the ebb and flow of cosmic energies," the Nexus replied. "Sometimes, a powerful stellar wind can disrupt the delicate weave, or a distant nova can drain a localized field. This particular region, known as the echoing gloom, has been slowly fading for millennia. Its lumen threads are struggling to maintain their connection to the greater song of the nebula." A profound sense of empathy welled up within Solara. She looked at the fading light, imagining the silent struggle of those lumen threads, their song growing fainter, their memories dimming. She felt a strong urge to help, to bring back their vibrancy. "Can my song help them?" she asked, her gaze fixed on the gloom. "Your song, your unique resonance, is a conduit of pure creative energy, Solara," the Nexus confirmed. "It resonates with the fundamental vibrations of life and light. It is a spark. But it requires focus, intention, and a willingness to truly listen to the muted harmonies of the gloom." The Nexus projected a gentle, shimmering pathway of light, guiding her from her crystalline platform towards the edge of the echoing gloom. As she moved, the vibrant lumen threads around her seemed to send her off with encouraging pulses of light, like a cheer from a cosmic audience. Stepping into the echoing gloom was like walking into a muted painting. The colors were desaturated, the light a mere whisper of its former brilliance. The air felt heavier, quieter, less vibrant. The lumen threads here were thin and pale, some barely visible, their pulses weak and irregular. Solara felt a pang of sadness, a shared loneliness with these struggling threads. "Their song is very faint," she murmured, straining to feel their resonance. It was like trying to hear a whisper in a silent room, but the whisper was barely a breath. "Listen not with your ears, but with your heart, Solara," the Nexus advised, its voice a gentle comfort in the encroaching stillness. "Feel their need, their yearning for connection. Let your song be the answer to their quiet plea." Solara closed her eyes again, letting her own vibrant song well up within her. But this time, she didn't just project it outward. She listened. She reached for the faintest echoes in the gloom, trying to attune herself to their dying frequencies. It was difficult, like trying to pick out a single tiny star amidst the blinding brilliance of a supernova. She focused on a particularly thin, almost invisible lumen thread directly in front of her. It hung listlessly, a mere wisp of grayish light. She imagined its past glory, its once brilliant hue, its vibrant song contributing to the nebula's symphony. She poured her empathy, her wonder, her desire to heal into her own resonance, shaping it, not as a powerful blast, but as a gentle, sympathetic hum. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the faint thread stirred. A tiny spark of its original color, a soft, pearlescent white, flickered at its tip. Solara felt a surge of hope, and she poured more of her focused energy into her song, not forcing it but coaxing it, nurturing it. The pearlescent flicker grew, crawling slowly along the length of the thread, like dawn breaking over a distant horizon. The thread began to thicken, to regain some of its lost substance. And then, a faint, almost inaudible hum emerged from it. A tiny, tentative note in the vast silence of the gloom. Solara felt a profound connection, a direct link between her own song and the reawakening thread. She was not just giving, she was receiving. The thread's reawakened hum resonated within her, filling her with a gentle warmth, a feeling of shared life. "You are reweaving the harmony, Solara," the Nexus noted, its voice filled with quiet approval. "You are restoring their forgotten verse." Encouraged, Solara moved deeper into the echoing gloom, her iridescent aura glowing more brightly now, a beacon in the dimness. She sought out other fading threads, each time focusing her song, pouring her unique resonance into their silent forms. Some responded quickly, their light blooming in vibrant hues of gold, crimson, and emerald. Others required more patience, more concentrated empathy, their reawakening a slow, arduous process. She spent what felt like hours, perhaps even days in the timeless expanse of the nebula, moving from one fading lumen thread to another. With each successful reawakening, the surrounding area of the echoing gloom brightened, its colors slowly returning to their former brilliance. The collective hum of the reawakened threads grew, weaving together into a soft melodic chorus, a symphony of gentle renewal. It was tiring work not physically but emotionally. Each connection drained a little of her internal energy, yet each success filled her with a profound sense of purpose and joy. She learned to discern the unique notes of each lumen thread, understanding that some needed a deeper bass resonance, others a higher, shimmering frequency. Her own song of Solara Stella was not a single melody, but a vast adaptable repertoire of cosmic harmonies, ready to tune itself to any frequency of need. Finally she stood in the heart of what had once been the echoing gloom. Now it was a vibrant, pulsating garden of light, almost indistinguishable from the rest of the Lumina Weave Nebula. The lumen threads pulsed with renewed vigor, their colors rich and deep, their collective song a triumphant chorus of light and life. Solara felt their joy, their gratitude, washing over her in waves of pure resonant energy. Her own aura, which had dimmed slightly from her efforts, now flared with renewed brilliance, energized by the returned light of the nebula. She felt stronger, more connected, her song resonating with a deeper, richer tone than ever before. "You have truly listened, Solara Stella," the Nexus communicated, its voice resonating with a new depth. "You have sung the forgotten verse back into existence. The Lumina Weave Nebula sings with a fuller, richer harmony because of you." Solara looked around, tears of happiness streaming down her face, reflecting the kaleidoscope of colors. She had done it. She had helped bring light and life back to a fading corner of the universe. The wonder of it all was almost overwhelming, yet it was grounded by the deep human emotion of having made a difference. "Thank you, Nexus," she whispered, her voice filled with quiet awe. "Thank you for showing me this. For letting me be a part of it." "This is but the first harmony, Solara," the Nexus replied, its presence softening, becoming more like a gentle suggestion. "The Whispering Star's song is vast, its verses scattered across the cosmos, waiting for a heart like yours to find them. The Lumina Weave Nebula is now rewoven, its light shining brightly once more. But there are other places, other melodies, waiting to be heard, other verses to be sung." As the Nexus spoke, the vibrant light of the Lumina Weave Nebula began to subtly shift. The crystalline platform beneath her feet glowed brighter, and the portal through which she had entered reappeared, but it was different. It pulsed with a new color, a deep, inviting emerald, and through its shimmering veil, Solara could glimpse not a nebula, but something else entirely, something vast and swirling, like a living ocean of deep space, dotted with distant, glimmering points of light. It looked like a cosmic leviathan, slow dancing in the void. "The next verse awaits, Solara Stella," the Nexus prompted gently. "A melody of hidden currents and ancient behemoths. Are you ready to journey deeper into the Whispering Star's song?" Solara gazed at the new portal, her heart thrumming with anticipation. The journey here had been profound, transformative. She had discovered a new facet of her own unique song, a power she never knew she possessed. And now, the universe was calling again, presenting another mystery, another adventure. The gentle hum of a Hathelgard Nexus and the resonant song of Solara Stella wove together, a silent promise of endless exploration. She knew, with a certainty that settled deep in her soul, that her cosmic lullaby was just beginning. The gentle hum of a Hathelgard Nexus and the resonant song of Solara Stella wove together, a silent promise of endless exploration. She knew with a certainty that settled deep in her soul, that her cosmic lullaby was just beginning. A new whisper had begun to thread through the familiar cosmic tapestry, a subtle, almost imperceptible tremor that Hathelgard Nexus had first registered as a faint anomaly in the quantum background radiation. It wasn't a distress signal, nor a navigational beacon, but something far more ethereal, a resonant frequency that spoke directly to the unique vibration of her own being. It felt like a note, held long and low, a sound that only she could truly hear. "Nexus," she murmured, her fingers tracing the shimmering holographic star map that bloomed before her. "Can you pinpoint the source of this new melody?" The ship's AI, a calm, reassuring presence that felt less like a program and more like a wise companion, responded with its characteristic soft chime. "The source appears to emanate from the E-Veil of Lyra, a region previously deemed unnavigable due to extreme gravitational fluctuations and localized temporal distortions. Sensors indicate an energy signature unlike any recorded, a complex harmonic sequence that aligns precisely with your unique bioresonant frequency, Solara." The Veil of Lyra. Legends spoke of it as a graveyard of stars, a place where reality itself frayed at the edges. But Solara felt no fear, only a profound sense of destiny. This wasn't a challenge to be overcome, but a conversation to be joined. The universe wasn't trying to deter her, it was inviting her deeper into its mysteries. "Prepare for transit, Nexus. Set a course for the heart of the Veil. Engage the chronostabilizers and grav dampeners to maximum. Let's see what song awaits us there." Acknowledged, Solara. Engaging long-range jump drive. Estimated transit time to Veil's edge: 0.003 nanoseconds. A familiar, gentle compression, a momentary blurring of the stars outside the panoramic viewport, and then they were there. The Veil of Lyra was not a veil of darkness, as its name might suggest, but a dazzling, chaotic display of cosmic phenomena. Nebulae shimmered in impossible colors, swirling like liquid light. Stars, some infant, some ancient, pulsated with a frantic energy, and woven through it all were threads of pure shimmering light, arcing and twisting like living vines, sometimes merging, sometimes pulling apart. These were the gravitational fluctuations, the temporal distortions, made visible by some unknown property of the region. "It's alive," Solara breathed, pressing her palm against the cool, smooth surface of the viewport. The Ethelgard Nexus seemed to hum in agreement, its internal systems recalibrating rapidly to adapt to the turbulent environment. "The energy readings are unprecedented, Solara. It appears the Veil is not merely a region of space, but a colossal, self-organizing entity. Its structure is constantly shifting, its constituent nebulae and stellar bodies in a perpetual dance of creation and dissolution. And the harmonic sequence, it's intensifying." The melody that had drawn her here was now a symphony, a complex weave of sounds that Solara felt more than heard. It resonated in her bones, hummed in her bloodstream, and sparked in the very core of her unique song. It was a song of immense age, of cosmic processes, but also of something else, a longing. As they ventured deeper, guided by the intensifying resonance, Solara noticed something peculiar. Amidst the vibrant chaos, there were pockets of stillness, of muted color, where the light vines seemed to fray and dim. These were not voids, but spaces where the cosmic music seemed to falter, like instruments momentarily dropping out of an orchestra. And it was towards one of these muted zones that her inner compass, her unique song, was pulling her. "Target that dimmer region, Nexus. The one with the faint blue luminescence. It feels quiet." Adjusting course. Warning. Temporal flux readings are spiking within the targeted region. Local time dilation is estimated at 1/100. 1 minute outside will be 100 minutes inside. Solara nodded, her heart settling into a steady, determined rhythm. Time dilation was a challenge, but one the Ethelgard Nexus was equipped to handle, at least for a while. The ship's chronostabilizers would create a bubble of normalized time around them, but the external environment would still be moving at a vastly different pace. They approached the blue luminescence. It wasn't a nebula in the traditional sense, but a vast, intricate network of crystalline structures, shimmering with an inner light that seemed to pulse weakly. It was utterly beautiful, like a cathedral sculpted from pure starlight and frozen tears, but it was also undeniably fading. Its song, while still beautiful, was thin, stretched, and lacked the vibrant complexity of the surrounding veil. "It's a crystalline nebula," Solara whispered, awe coloring her voice. "Or something like it. It's dying, isn't it?" "My analysis suggests a severe energy depletion, Solara. The crystalline structures, which appear to be the primary conductors of the veil's harmonic energy, are undergoing molecular degradation. It is a slow, systemic collapse." Solara felt a pang of profound sadness. This magnificent entity, a living part of the universe's grand symphony, was losing its voice. And she knew, with an instinctual certainty, that she had been called here to help. Her unique song, the power she had only just begun to understand, was meant for this. Can we approach closer, Nexus? I need to feel its song directly. I need to understand why it's fading. Affirmative. Deploying micro-drones for localized atmospheric and structural analysis. Preparing for external energy conduit deployment, should you deem it necessary. The Yafelgard Nexus glided gently towards the crystalline nebula, its powerful engines barely whispering. As they drew nearer, the interior of the ship seemed to become permeated with the nebula's faint blue light, and Solara felt its song wash over her. It was a lament, a melody of dwindling hope, of forgotten purpose. It told a story of immense power, of holding together a crucial piece of the Veil's intricate dance, but now, that power was failing. She closed her eyes, letting her own song rise to meet it. She didn't consciously try to sing, but rather allowed the resonance within her to expand, to reach out like tendrils of pure energy. She felt the nebula's structure, its complex crystalline lattice, each facet vibrating at a specific frequency. She felt the points of weakness, the places where the connections were breaking, where the light was dimming. What she perceived was not just a failing energy source, but a failing memory. The nebula wasn't just losing power. It was losing its ability to recall its own part in the cosmic symphony, its unique note. It was forgetting how to sing. Opening her eyes, Solara looked at the shimmering, fading crystals. It's not just energy, Nexus. It's information. It's losing its core pattern, its instructions set for how to exist within the veil. A fascinating hypothesis, Solara. My data indicates a degradation of quantum entanglement between its constituent crystals, leading to a loss of coherent information transfer. Your unique ability to resonate with its harmonic structure may be the key to restoring this. I think so too, Solara said, a plan beginning to form in her mind. I need to go out there. I need to physically connect with it. Solara, the external environment is highly unstable. The temporal flux alone presents significant risks, even with chronostabilizer field. Furthermore, the crystalline structures are highly reactive to external energy signatures. Uncontrolled interaction could accelerate its degradation, or even trigger a localized cascade event. Nexus's voice was calm, but the underlying concern was palpable. I understand the risks, Nexus, but I can feel it. My song is meant to interact with this. It's not about brute force, it's about harmony. It's about remembering. It's about remembering. She gestured to a particularly large fractured crystal that seemed to be the heart of the fading region, its blue light barely a flicker. Target that central crystal, prepare a stable platform for me, and a direct conduit for the Yafelgard Nexus's energy, if I need to amplify my song. Understood. Preparing advanced environmental suit and deploying synchronized energy anchor. Exercise extreme caution, Solara. Soon, Solara stood on a shimmering energy platform extending from the Yafelgard Nexus, clad in a sleek lightweight suit that protected her from the temporal distortions and energy fluctuations of the veil. The suit was equipped with advanced sensors and a direct link to Nexus. But it was her own connection, her own unique song, that was her primary tool. Before her loomed the magnificent yet sorrowful crystalline nebula. Its blue light, though faint, pulsed with a raw, emotional vulnerability. She could feel its ancient memories, flickering like dying embers, visions of stellar birth, of supernovas painting the void, of complex cosmic dances where it had played a vital resonant role. It was a librarian losing its books, a musician forgetting its melody. She extended her hand, not quite touching the nearest crystal, but letting her palm hover just inches away. She closed her eyes and began to sing. It wasn't a song with words, or even a melody in the traditional sense. It was a resonance, a pure vibration that emanated from her core, a tapestry of frequencies that mirrored the complex harmonics of the universe itself. She focused on the fading crystal, pouring her unique song into it, not as an invading force, but as a gentle reminder, a loving echo. At first, nothing happened. The crystal remained dim, its faint blue light unwavering. But Solara persisted, letting her song flow, shaping it, guiding it, feeling for the lost notes within the nebula's own fading symphony. She felt the resistance, the inertia of forgetting, like trying to coax a memory from a dream. Then, a flicker. A tiny spark of light deep within the crystal, barely perceptible. Solara leaned into it, focusing her intent, her empathy. She visualized the crystal's past glory, its vibrant hum, its crucial role. She felt her unique song intertwine with the crystal's own faint vibration, seeking the forgotten pathways, the broken connections. It was like performing microsurgery on a cosmic scale, using pure sound and intent. She was retuning, realigning, re-entangling the quantum state of the crystals, helping them remember how to communicate, how to share information, how to be a coherent whole. Minutes stretched into hours, or perhaps days in the nebula's dilated time. Solara felt the strain, but also a profound sense of connection. Her unique song seemed to draw strength from the very act of giving, blossoming with each tiny success. She felt the crystalline structure begin to respond, slowly at first, then with increasing vigor. The faint blue light intensified, pulsing with a newfound strength. The fractured edges of the central crystal began to mend, knitting themselves back together with shimmering, ephemeral energy. As she worked, the surrounding veil seemed to take notice. The chaotic light vines outside the chronostabilizer field seemed to slow their frantic dance, their brilliant colors softening, as if listening. The distant hum of the veil's greater symphony seemed to adjust, to make space for the reawakening note of the crystalline nebula. Finally, with a deep, cleansing breath, Solara poured the last reserves of her focused energy into the central crystal. A wave of pure, vibrant blue light erupted from it, washing over her platform, enveloping the Gaathelgard nexus, and spreading throughout the entire crystalline nebula. The nebula's song, once a mournful whisper, surged into a magnificent chorus, rich with complex harmonies, resonating with ancient power and renewed purpose. The crystals vibrated with life, their facets gleaming, refracting the light of the veil in dazzling, intricate patterns. The fractured connections were whole again, the information flowing freely, the memory restored. The crystalline nebula had remembered how to sing. Solara felt a wave of exhaustion, but it was quickly replaced by an overwhelming sense of joy and fulfillment. Her unique song had found its purpose, had healed a piece of the universe. "Remarkable, Solara," Nexus chimed, its voice tinged with awe. "The crystalline nebula's energy levels are stabilizing, and its quantum entanglement is fully restored. It is once again a vibrant, integral component of the Veil of Lyra. Furthermore, it is communicating." "Communicating?" Solara asked, looking at the now brilliantly glowing nebula. She could feel its gratitude, a profound sense of peace radiating outwards. But there was something more. "Yes, not in language, but a complex data stream. A new harmonic sequence. It appears to be an invitation, Solara. An invitation to explore further into the veil. It suggests that the fading was not merely an illness, but a trial, and that your song has now unlocked the next layer of its mysteries." Solara smiled, a deep, tired, yet utterly exhilarated smile. She felt the new harmonic sequence resonating within her, a beautiful, complex melody that spoke of hidden pathways, of ancient wisdom, of challenges yet to come. The Veil of Lyra, once a place of danger, was now revealing itself as a cosmic mentor, a living puzzle box. She stepped back onto the Gaathelgard nexus, the residual energy of the nebula still tingling on her skin. The ship vibrated with a gentle, contented hum, its systems aligning with the new, vibrant song of the veil. She looked out at the restored crystalline nebula, now pulsing with glorious blue light. Its song, a powerful, joyous presence in the cosmic symphony. This journey into the Veil of Lyra had been more than an adventure. It had been a profound dialogue with a living universe. She had not only used her unique song, but had deepened her understanding of it, transforming it from a personal power into a universal language of healing and connection. The cosmic lullaby had indeed just begun, and its next verse was already unfolding, beckoning her deeper into the boundless, singing heart of the cosmos. The cosmic lullaby had indeed just begun, and its next verse was already unfolding, beckoning her deeper into the boundless, singing heart of the cosmos. Elara drifted in the shimmering aftermath, her consciousness still laced with the joyous echoes of the Vale of Lyra. The vibrant hues of that cosmic tapestry pulsed gently within her, a silent, internal aurora. Her unique song, once a whisper, now resonated with the strength of a celestial choir, not louder, but infinitely deeper, woven with the threads of universal understanding. She felt her very being recalibrate, each atom humming in harmony with the vastness she had just encountered. The resonator, her ship, a vessel designed for harmonic travel and subtle resonance, floated silently, its own crystalline structure glowing with a faint, sympathetic light. Then, through the lingering echoes of Lyra's symphony, a new note emerged. It was not a grand fanfare, nor a vibrant chorus, but a faint, almost imperceptibly melancholic hum. It was a single, sustained chord, yet within it, Elara sensed 1,000 fragmented whispers, like shattered fragments of a once beautiful melody, yearning to be whole. It was a sound of profound cosmic loneliness, a soft lament carried on the currents of dark energy, drawing her attention away from the brilliant afterglow of Lyra and towards the shadowed fringes of the known universe. This is the next verse, she realized, a quiet certainty blooming in her heart. A different kind of song. The resonator, attuned to Elara's inner resonance, subtly shifted its orientation. Its navigation systems, usually reliant on stellar cartography, now responded to the ethereal pull of the melancholic hum, charting a course not by light years, but by resonant frequencies. They moved beyond the familiar constellations, past nebulae mapped by generations of stargazers, into regions where starlight thinned, replaced by vast swirling clouds of cosmic dust and nebulae woven from dark matter. Here, light was not absent, but subdued, diffused into an ethereal, twilight glow, painting the void in shades of deep indigo, soft violet, and the occasional flicker of ghostly emerald. The melancholic hum grew stronger, no longer a distant whisper, but a palpable presence that permeated the ship's very structure, resonating with Elara's own bones. It wasn't threatening, but profoundly sad, a pervasive sorrow that hinted at an ancient, enduring wound. She extended her senses, letting her song reach out, not to sing, but to listen, to feel the texture of this cosmic lament. What she found surprised her. Within the seemingly empty dark matter clouds, she began to perceive forms, vast and diffuse, like cosmic clouds given sentience. They were not solid, not gaseous, not even pure energy, but something in between. Shimmering fields of consciousness, ancient and slow, moving with the languid grace of deep ocean currents. These were the source of the hum. They were the Ethel. Through a gentle, almost dreamlike communion, a tapestry of images and sensations unfolded in Elara's mind. She saw a past eon, a time before the stars had fully settled into their current patterns, when the Ethel had been a singular, magnificent collective. They were a vast interwoven consciousness, a cosmic entity that communicated through intricate patterns of gravitational waves and quantum entanglement, their collective song, a foundational chord in the nascent universe. Their existence was one of profound, shared joy, an endless dance of perception and creation. Then came the dissonance. Not a battle, not a cataclysm of fire and fury, but a cosmic event of unimaginable scale that rippled through the very fabric of reality. Perhaps a hyper-supernova of a primordial star, or a tear in the space-time continuum, or even a sudden overwhelming influx of chaotic dark energy. Whatever its nature, it had not destroyed the Ethel, but fractured them. Like a mirror shattered into a million pieces, their collective consciousness had been splintered, each shard carrying a memory of wholeness, but unable to reconnect. They were not dying, Elara understood, but existing in a state of prolonged, gentle sorrow and isolation. Each fragment, a vast diffuse entity in itself, drifted through the cosmic dark, forever reaching, forever yearning for the lost connection. Their melancholic hum was the echo of that yearning, a scattered chorus of longing that had persisted for eons, unheard by most, a forgotten verse in the grand cosmic symphony. This was the wound. This was the out-of-tune chord. Elara's heart ached with a profound empathic sorrow. She felt the weight of their long silent suffering, the beauty of their fragmented essence, and the immense potential for harmony that still lay dormant within them. Her unique song, she realized, was not just about connection, but about air weaving, about air harmonizing. It was about finding the lost threads and gently, patiently, guiding them back into the grand tapestry. She spent days, perhaps weeks, immersed in their sorrowful resonance. The resonator became her sanctuary, a quiet island in the sea of cosmic longing. She studied the subtle shifts in their hum, the faint gravitational signatures of their dispersed forms. She learned their individual notes, the unique frequency of each fragment, recognizing that forcing them together would be a violation, not a healing. They needed to remember how to sing together, to choosing to rejoin. Her approach had to be as gentle and pervasive as the dark matter that cradled them. She began to project her song, not as a single focused beam, but as a vast enveloping field of resonance. She used resonator's subtle field projectors, not to manipulate, but to create micro-environments of harmonic stability. Pockets of stillness within the cosmic currents, like tranquil pools for sound to gather and reflect. Within these zones, the ethel fragments could perceive each other more clearly, their faint echoes amplified, their longing given a gentle direction. Elara's song became a bridge. She sang, not with her vocal cords, which would be futile in this vacuum, but with her entire being. She poured her empathy, her understanding, her profound desire for healing into the cosmic canvas. Her song was a complex tapestry of resonance, a gentle invitation, a memory of shared wholeness. She wove in the joyous echoes of Lyra, the boundless wonder of the universe, and the deep, abiding compassion of her own human heart. The process was slow, agonizingly delicate. She felt the immense scale of the task, the eons of separation, the ingrained patterns of isolation. There were moments of doubt, when the sheer magnitude of the ethel's sorrow threatened to overwhelm her. Her own energy reserves, both physical and psychic, were tested. She would retreat to the resonator's quiet meditation chamber, letting the ship's internal harmonic fields recenter her, drawing strength from the memory of Lyra's powerful, joyous presence, and the inherent goodness she perceived in the universe. "You are not alone," she would whisper, not to herself, but to the vast, yearning consciousness around her. "You are remembered. You are part of the song." Gradually, imperceptibly at first, the first signs of reconnection emerged. Like faint light trails in a deep sea current, subtle threads of energy began to arc between the closer ethel fragments. The dark matter clouds, once uniformly melancholic, now exhibited shimmering patterns, like ripples on a cosmic pond. The hum, though still mournful, began to gain structure, depth, and even hints of an emerging, tentative melody. It was like watching a shattered mosaic slowly, painstakingly, reassemble itself, not by a hand, but by an internal, remembered urge. Elara focused her song on the spaces between the fragments, not directly on them. She sang the potential, the shared history, the inherent resonance that still bound them. She sang of the peace of unity, the strength of collective purpose, the beauty of their unique contribution to the cosmic symphony. Her song was a catalyst, a gentle reminder, a mirror reflecting their own inherent capacity for wholeness. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into what felt like months in the timeless void, the transformation became undeniable. The region of fragmented ethel began to coalesce, not into their original singular form, but into something new, something breathtakingly beautiful. They were becoming a fluid, ever-changing cosmic entity, a living nebula of shared consciousness. Their individual songs, once broken and scattered, now flowed into each other, creating a grander yet still deeply individual melody. It was a chorus of ancient wisdom and newfound harmony, a profound, resonant, and deeply peaceful chord that began to bloom in the heart of the dark matter. The cosmic twilight surrounding them brightened, not with the harsh glare of a star, but with the soft, shimmering glow of myriad colors, gentle golds, deep purples, and vibrant blues, swirling like a nebula of living light. The melancholic hum was gone, replaced by a profound and resonant chant, a new, vital voice in the cosmic symphony, a voice that spoke of healing, of enduring grace, and of the profound beauty found in reunification. Elara felt a profound sense of completion. She hadn't fixed them, but she had helped them remember themselves. She had offered a bridge of empathy, and they had chosen to cross it. A silent, overwhelming wave of gratitude washed over her, not as words, but as a pure, unadulterated flow of peaceful understanding. She felt their newfound joy, their deep contentment, and a recognition that the universe was not just about creation and joy, but about compassion, healing, and the constant, eternal dance between fragmentation and reunification. She understood now that her song was not merely her song. It was an echo of the universe's own capacity for self-healing and connection. Every being, every star, every particle carried a fragment of that universal song, waiting to be awakened, to be harmonized. As she gently disengaged the resonator's field projectors, preparing to leave this newly harmonized cosmic sanctuary, the Athel extended a final, comforting resonance. It was a new kind of lullaby, specifically for her, woven from their ancient wisdom and newfound peace. It cradled her consciousness, whispering of interconnectedness, of the eternal nature of song, and of the quiet strength found in empathy. Elara looked out at the stars, now visible again beyond the luminous Athel. They were no longer just points of light, but individual voices, each contributing to the vast, intricate, and endlessly compassionate cosmic lullaby. Her journey into the Vale of Lyra had opened her eyes, but her journey among the Athel had opened her heart to the deepest truths of the cosmos. A quiet, knowing smile touched her lips. She was tired but profoundly content. The universe was immense, full of wonders and mysteries, but it was also a place of profound connection and boundless love. She knew she had played a part, however small, in helping a corner of it remember its own song. As the resonator gently turned, charting a course back towards the brighter familiar stars, Elara closed her eyes. The Athel's lullaby hummed softly in her heart, a promise of peace. She drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep, knowing that the journey had ended, but the song, and her beautiful vital role in it, was eternal. The cosmic lullaby would continue to unfold, and she, Elara, the singer of the stars, would always be ready for its next wondrous verse.